is just literature for and about things. There's to bridge the gap between children's and adults' book. It can be subdivided into the same genres as adult book romance, paranormal, mystery, horror, literary fiction. Who reads YA books? The young adult YA fiction genre is a category aimed at teens, but many of the books have an adult following. By some market estimates, nearly 70% of all YA titles are purchased by adults between the ages of 18 and 64. Why are YA books so popular? JA novels are usually shorter and a quick read compared to general lit fic and other adult books, so they are easy to get through. The grind stars are usually easier to digest, as well, with more focus on the story and less on the writing gimmicks. Two adults rate YA books. A 2012 survey found that 55% of YA readings are adults. In fact, the largest segments in the market for YA literature are adults between 30 and 44 years, which accounts for 28% of all sales. YA is a category, not a gender, and it covers most of the genders that adult fiction has. Young adult books are known to be all kinds of words and subjects. What distinguishes them from adult fiction is that usually the protagonists are children or teenagers dealing with adolescent issues. Many themes are acceptable as long as they are relevant to teenagers. For example, a fantasy, contemporary, dystopian, romance, paranormal, drugs, sex, gender issues, parental divorce, terminal cancer and issues, and bullying. I will talk about the four most common YA genders. The first one is a contemporary fiction, and one example is the book called The Fault in Our Stars. The second one is fantasy, and one example is Harry Potter. The third one is romance, and an example it can be the Saga of the Selection, and the fourth one is dystopian, and one example is the book called Insignia. Based on a survey, the most read gender is romance. That's why. What do people are looking for this gender? What to expect of this gender usually is to feel avoided. Um, Teenagers expect to feel anxiety, uh, to have empathy with some characters in the book, and sometimes to avoid real moments they have in their lives. Maybe reading this kind of books can help them to find like a place to be happy, to feel the character in the book um, is happy in that moment, and at the time you are reading it and imagine it, you feel the same because the power of the letters and all these sentences the author try to give to the reader, they maybe can feel it and maybe can put it. So I think this is important to the readers. It's something that is difficult to explain, but it's important because maybe you're trying to feel something that is not in your life, and maybe reading a book can help you to avoid these kind of problems. When I started reading, I remember I had a lot of problems and for me it was a really big challenge. First thing I think because I have problems with my lexicon. I remember that I spent maybe 3 months to read a book, or maybe half of a year. So when I start having practice reading more, I start to understand the books, and finally I found my gender. And today I can say that I spent maybe 1 week to read one book, and I feel happy for this because it's like a challenge that I could pass. Today I can say that I prefer reading a book than watching a movie. So I'm really proud of that. And with this feeling, now I can know why a lot of people are looking for reading instead of watching